Welcome to Innovate and Conversate, where we discuss the latest innovations and trends in the business world. I'm your host, Jana, and joining me today, Ms. Sheryn, author of the amazing book Unstuck. She helps individuals overcome fear, challenges, and break free from their comfort zone. Welcome to the podcast.
Bonjour, Jana.
If we want to start off, can you share what led you to embrace this mission and how has fear become central to your work and what you do?
Well, in life there is fear, so you have to live with it. Now, how I started with the fear expertise? Actually, I was before an expert in creativity, disruptive creator. But then again, life is not a straight line. I was in a very, very big conference and people heard about my stories. And they told me, Sheryn, you are an expert in overcoming challenges and fear. So this is where it started.
Your book now today.
Yes.
Okay, so how do you relate it to what you actually do when it comes to fear and helping people overcome the challenges? Like, where does fear usually show up in the decision-making process?
Okay, there is two questions here. So the book is about a man that loses everything and has to start back again, older age.
Mm-hmm.
And from that moment, he has problem over problem. So actually, people usually stay in their comfort zone. The problem is fear will always exist, but we, as individuals, we are stuck in something called our comfort zone.
That's true.
This is it. This is the main thing. Why? Ask yourself this question. Why some people would, embrace resilience and would do so many things, and then others would just stuck? Because you have one fear. The fear of failure. So
That's
the book
100%.
is all about that.
Yeah, and you talk about flipping the script from why is this happening to me to what is this trying to actually teach me, right, in the book. So
Yes.
how does fear block someone from making this mental shift?
It's easy. I'm going to give you a very personal experience. I lost my dad when I was 19. The only girl on 3 boys in Lebanon back in the days. So I had the choice, or be the little helpless victim, the girl. Back in the days, it was like worse than an incurable disease, or start swinging harder than the rest of them. Well, guess which one I chose? Of course, option 2. By the second my father passed away, I was 19. So I had 2 choices, right? Or I just say to people, oh my God, my pillar, my rock, my everything. I was alone with my 3 brothers. My mother wasn't there, wasn't living with us. Or I said to myself, how lucky I am. Why? 3 things. 1, I was lucky that he lived until I was 19. Second, he was my best friend. He was my rock. And third, he gave me so much lessons that today I am the woman who I am today. Mm-hmm. So you see, it's very easy to be the little victim. And this is what people usually do. Why we play the victim? That is the question. Because, Jana, can you imagine every single day go somewhere and you say to people, I'm fine. Sorry, but the conversation stops there. Mm-hmm. Why? Because people are not used to hearing I'm fine, because at the I'm fine, the conversation stopped. Whereas when you come and you blah, blah, blah with all your problems, then at a certain point, they're going to be the victim, you're the savior, victim, and then, you pass the rest of your day feeling somewhere useful. Mm-hmm. So that's it. Do you want to be the victim or you want to be the victor? You want to be the victim, we know what to do. Nag, complain all your life. You want to be the victor? Zip, go on. People live worse than us. When you have this attitude in life, people will not like you.
That's true. And in your experience, what are some of the most common fears that people face today? And how can organizations basically help those individuals to overcome the fear?
Okay, I think there are 3 big fears. Very easy. Mm-hmm. Fear of success, fear of failure, and fear of not being loved. They have one common point. Can you guess? Very easy. Expectations. Behind success, there is expectation. Behind failure, expectation. And not to be loved, there is expectation. So we have this fear of the fear, actually, because we don't want to be rejected. We are not living in the caves anymore, but sort of. If you don't, you're not part of a community, then you are
An outsider.
exactly. So this is why people try all the time to please others. Actually, one of my latest posts is, why do we hang to our appearances? Why? Why is it so important? Because we want to be accepted.
And we want to be seen by others.
But to be accepted as being the most beautiful, interesting, handsome, whatsoever. You see what I mean? Voilà.
So for someone still feeling stuck and frozen by fear, what's one practical advice that you would give for them so that they can act today and just start moving forward?
Okay, let me give you an example. I created something called the 3A Model of Fortitude. It's very easy. Whether you made a decision or you solved a problem, right? It goes to one single point. Let me give you an example. You're a doctor. You're a teacher. You're in a company. You lost your job. This doctor is trying to find a job elsewhere, not in Dubai, for example. We're in Dubai. He seeks for this position, etc., okay? Because he doesn't want to go level, so he wants to prestige, standing.
Yeah, exactly.
So he accepts a job in a hospital somewhere in Ras Al Khaimah, paid a lot less, but he kept his standing. What is he doing? Adapt. He's adapting. So his attitude is no, I'm going to stay a doctor. I'm going to keep my standing, and this is it. Okay, so his attitude was that. Whereas, imagine if no one needs a doctor, this specific, doctor. So what does he do? He would have this attitude of harakiri. No one wants. Life is difficult. No one wants me, etc., etc. Very easy to victimize yourself. That is the problem when you have problems. You victimize. But if you couldn't adapt, there is no job for you. You have another A. It's called agility. What is agility? Well, somewhere he sees an ad of somebody, a clinic that needs a manager. And you would tell me, why would he accept Sheryn to take a job of a manager? And I will tell you, well, as Obama said, take the job. Throughout, you will learn. The key here is to be proactive, not to be reactive. So the most important thing when you have a problem, think of your attitude. If your attitude is positive, constructive, then you would definitely be curious enough and creative. But if you're stuck to, I have a problem and that's it, that's the end of the world, well, I can't help you with that. When you have a problem, think about it. You have different ideas, right? And between these ideas, you have maybe 3-4 options, solutions. But if at the beginning you say, I have a problem, I have to find a solution, you're dead. You see? Don't be stuck with a solution. Let me try things, and on the way, I might find, maybe this guy will never end up maybe being the best manager of the clinic, but he tried and he learned. What's the most important thing when you have a problem? Learn. Learn. But the most difficult thing is to unlearn what we learn. That is a bit tricky there. So if you adapt, if you have this good attitude, you adapt, or you're being agile, then I think you get out of it. That's all about my book, which is called Unstuck.
That's amazing. I think this brings us to the end of our podcast.
Pity.
Thank you so much for being with us today. It's been a really fascinating discussion.
Merci beaucoup, Jana, and I hope to see you very, very soon.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thank you to our listeners for tuning in. We'd love to hear back from you on which topics you would like for us to discuss next. Until next time, stay innovative and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.